Well, this is Rob Legenhausen coming at you from the new podcast studio here at Raymond James in College Park. We are known by a bunch of different names. We have multiple teams here. We are known as Edgewater Family Wealth. We have agility advisors. There's a few different brands within the brand, if you will. But end of the day, we're just a big old Raymond James team, and we operate here out of this building in the heart of CP. And today, special guest in the building.
Thanks for having me.
To say that.
Yeah, no.
This is my buddy, Rick Perez. So Rick is not only a longtime friend, I've known Rick for a very long time, but Rick's also a highly skilled CPA. Rick's a partner. I guess I'll do a little intro for you.
Thanks, man.
Rick's a partner at a firm in Winter Park. I'd say they're a medium to every year getting bigger and bigger sized CPA and accounting firm. And Rick's a partner. I think he oversees the tax planning department.
Yeah, the tax department. Yeah. We've got 3 offices, Miami, West Palm Beach, and our Winter Park office here in Orlando. That's our main office. We've got about 120 people.
Nice. You guys are that big now.
Yeah. No, but yeah, we've known each other for quite a bit now, and we have mutual clients, et cetera. But thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man.
Your first shot, so mine too. Well, we're just talking about podcasts and the little that I know about them, but no, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we were talking about Theo Vaughn and Bobby Lee. Those are like both of our our understanding of education of podcasts is those guys. So, but yeah, it's all good. We'll have some fun today and kind of chop it up. So, Rick, you've saved me a lot of money over the years and provided me a lot of good advice as well. As advisors, a lot of times we kind of think about and we talk about investments. That's what we do. And I think a big part of a client's overall financial picture, obviously, is taxes, because it's like with tax drag, it's not really about what you earn. It's about what you keep. So if you're losing a bunch every year out the back door paying Uncle Sam, that's going to eat into investment returns. It's going to eat into, person's income. And it's like, I remember when I was like 18, 19 years old, my dad's buddy, kind of a mentor of mine, he told me, hey, Rob, now that you're 18, you're a man, guess what? Got a silent partner for life. It's Uncle Sam.
Yeah, that's your silent partner. And it's true. And it's so true. It's true. So it's going to take a cut of that income every year. So yeah, you got to be thinking about your silent partner.
Yeah. So for us as advisors, thankfully you and I met you years back early on in my career, and I've really used that as an asset in my business to say, listen, when I'm talking with a client, we're not just talking about performance and investments. I'm trying to bring in your team to help mitigate tax drag. We're trying to bring in, appropriate attorneys to bring in for estate planning, creditor protection, asset protection, and really just build out a team for these people. And I think at the end of the day, the clients are better served that way. That's the number one goal for everybody here. It's how do we protect the clients, put them in the best spot possible? And then how do we build a team for that client to where everybody's on the same page and we're all communicating?
That's right. And that's huge. I mean, a lot of times, and there's CPAs and financial advisors in every corner, but because we do have that relationship, it makes it easier for our clients to make sure that they are being taken care of by the whole team, as you say. Yeah.
I like to use the example of football, because a lot of people here like football.
Yes.
So I'm especially say we have a new client, I'm in a meeting with the family, and when they're kind of asking about the process, what do you guys do? How do we do? And, I tell them hey, do you like football? And not always, but a lot of times I say, yeah, we like football. And so I always ask them what's your team? And as you know, Florida alum here,
yes,
Gator in the house.
Gators.
That's why Jen likes you so much.
At least I got something going there. Yeah, that's right. And you never know when you talk about sports, you talk about Florida State, Florida. UCF's backyard, but you always be careful with that. But yes.
Charge on. But no, so yes, you get that. But I ask them hey, what's your team? And the client might say, I like UCF, I like Florida, whoever. Or they might even say NFL team. They say I like the Jags or Dolphins or whatever. Yeah. That'll be a whole another podcast about that. But then I'll tell them hey, look, well, how when you watch the Gators play on Saturday, you see the offense on the field, they huddle up, and there's 11 guys. And when I played ball in college, I know this firsthand. The only person talking in that huddle is the quarterback. Because if everybody comes in and they're like, hey, I was open last play, or like, hey, I missed my side, like it's chaos. So you got to have some structure in that huddle. So you got the quarterback and he's kind of like, leading that offense, right? But you have 10 other guys that are equally as valuable to the offense. You got an offensive lineman. Shout out to my O-line peeps. That's right. Yeah, that's right. You got an offensive lineman that's like blocking guys, protecting the quarterback's blind side, right? You have a running back that's going to like grab the rock and like you got a receiver running routes, they're catching passes. So, a lot of different players doing different assignments, but all working together for one common goal, and that's to score. So in our world, it's like, for my clients, let me be the quarterback for the family, but I'm going to integrate solid CPA. This is Rick Perez. This is Rick's team. Come in. They're going to help mitigate taxes. They're going to help reduce tax drag. They're going to provide ongoing advice for you from that standpoint. Let's bring in appropriate attorneys. We need corporate attorneys, estate planners and whatnot to protect that side of it. Let's bring in an insurance advisor. There's another valuable team member, possibly a banker. So there's like a lot of different positions, players that we want to form. So we want to build a team for you. And I love that analogy. Like it seems so, people get that. They're like, oh yeah, like I want that. I want a team. At the end of the day, again, it's all about how do we put them, the client, in the best possible spot.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So what else is cooking, man? You know what? I'll tell you something that's like totally badass. I just watched a new movie with Monk. So just to kind of shift here, Jen was out of town for work the other day. And so I had Chance at the house and our son, Chance, and you just had your first.
That's right, girl. 2 years now.
Yeah. Congrats, man. Oh, that's freaking awesome. I can't believe it's been 2 years. But like what I found, and you'll probably experience this too, you and Sahar, like when she gets a little older, but like when it's me, Jen, and Chance together, it's like, it's a different dynamic than it's just like me and Chance or Jen and Chance. It's almost like he doesn't really know how to act like in a different, dynamic. So for example, like Jen's out of town the other day and we had like the best time. Like, we went bowling and, he's like, we're having like guy time.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, let's go see a movie. So, and I wanted to see Oppenheimer.
I've been wanting to watch that too, actually.
Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen it. I saw Mission Impossible.
Dude, that's what we saw. So I take him to see Mission Impossible and I was like, dang, this is good.
That movie was, very, very.
Did you like it?
I loved it. It's, to me, I think it's my favorite Mission Impossible yet. It was just action after action, not to spoil it, and just action throughout the entire movie. And it's part one and part two of two. So
it totally ended up
cliffhanger. Yeah. 100%. So I got to watch that. I played hooky on Tuesday. I hadn't done that since high school. So my wife and I went out, babysitter was with the baby. So we went out and watched the Mission Impossible too. So
you didn't work Tuesday?
I didn't.
That's like
That's the first time in a while. I know. And we needed to do it, going back to that dynamic and all that. Parents need that time for themselves. So we took advantage of that and went out and watched the movie and had some
good for you.
And but it was a really good movie.
Solid, man. Yeah. So you and the Queen, just two of us.
Yeah. No, we hadn't done that in years. Yeah.
Good for
even before the baby, it was just we were just always so busy with the firm and et cetera. So we played hooky. I think this is the first time if you're watching. That's what I was on Tuesday.
My dad called. He's like, "Hey, where's Rick?" No,
he was calling.
My dad's probably your worst client.
No, I love them. I love when they come in, not just because what they've been through, their entire lives. The clients like himself, all this history behind them, and you learn from them.
Oh yeah.
And the things that they've seen from their prior advisors, et cetera. You take that to heart. And you learn from that. You don't want to do the same things that they've seen and that they're like, no, we don't want that with our advisors, et cetera. So you learn a lot from them, not just from a family perspective, but, it kind of, cool to hear their stories and where they've been and all that.
Oh, yeah.
I love when your dad comes in. I really do. Yeah. Both.
The old man's got some cool stories.
He's got some really cool stories. And I think for the most part, that's why I enjoy when they come in. We talk about taxes for like 2 minutes. The other 35 minutes is about what you've been up to, where you've been. And that's what we enjoy about meeting with the clients and that's what it's about. But behind the scenes, after they do leave the meeting, it's when you and I get to play and to your analogy is come up with a plan and strategize and help our clients out. But no, I love when your dad comes over. He's a great guy.
He's a good dude. He asks a lot of questions, and he's super detailed, which, I know as dealing with our own clients, it can sometimes be a lot, but, my dad always loved you because of Sahar, he lived in Iran, so he's Persian. And so like my old man is like, there's pretty like anywhere in the world, I think that like if you've been or you have family, they're like almost anywhere in the world. My dad's like, oh yeah, they're like, yeah, I used to live in Manila. Oh, I love Philippines. They're like, oh yeah, I love, they're beautiful people. Like that's how the old man is. And that traveling too, like growing up, my mom's from Norway.
Yeah,
that's a good education.
That's a great education, and being able to travel and go to these different places. Like why I enjoy talking to your dad is because he has been to those different places, and that's how you learn, right? Those different experiences of different countries. But no, he's always great when he comes in and he puts a smile on my face for sure. Every time he comes in and we talk about everything but his situation for like 2 minutes and then move on.
Isn't that typical?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like it.
And you just took a big trip.
We did. We went over to watch the Monaco race, the Formula One race in Monaco, and that was an experience. If you've never done that, you got to do that. Second time I've been, but this time we really went all out. We're supposed to go out there for my 40th.
Okay.
That was during the pandemic in 2020. So 3 years later, and obviously a lot happened since then. We had a baby, so that prolonged it. And finally we said, we're going. And we didn't take the baby. I know a lot of people ask me about that. Like, why didn't you take the baby? I'm like, it's a different trip. Going back to your dynamics, it's a very different trip with the baby. Love her to death. But Formula One cars, if you watch it, they're loud.
Yes. Oh yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. We're right there. We're literally right there hearing them go by, and there's 20 cars going full speed, 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Here. I mean, Monaco, they don't get to go that fast because of the track, but still you hear the engines. Not a place you want to take a baby, and it's all day long. It's hot.
Yeah.
Everywhere. So, but yeah, we went there. And then after that, we did take some time off and went to Cinque Terre, which you've been to, and up to Milan. So that was good. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, Rick, to pivot back on tax stuff, I want to pick your brain and I want to talk about some of the strategies that you and I have used, things that you've brought to me that I've personally implemented that have worked very well over the years. Yeah. I know a lot of guys talk about like when you buy a new vehicle, for example, and I've done this a couple of times, with your blessings. Tell us about that section. Is 179, right?
Section 179. Yeah. And, prior to that, you had bonus depreciation where as long as the vehicle was over 6,000 pounds, be eligible for the full depreciation. You can depreciate the entire purchase price of the vehicle. You don't have to buy it cash. You can finance it and you still get the deduction. And that's been great, especially if you're looking for new equipment and,
anything, right?
Anything that's related to equipment. The vehicle thing is, just specific. It has to be over 6,000 pounds. Those heavy vehicles, and rightfully so. I mean, those are very expensive vehicles. So if you're spending that money, we can take that deduction for you.
And if it makes the full deduction, or did that go away?
So the bonus depreciation is going down to 80% for 2023, but you still have the 179 there. So if that vehicle is eligible, you can still fully deduct that vehicle.
Okay.
But even then, with 80% bonus is still a lot. The tax law could change before the end of the year, but that's how it sits right now. But that's a big benefit. And the thing is it a company vehicle? Meaning, are you using more than 50% for business? And the answer is yes, it might be the right fit for you.
Yeah. And
a lot of times, you don't need that big vehicle, and I get that, comment quite often. I mean, you don't need a big, $100,000 X7 vehicle, right? For the business, you just need a smaller vehicle, and that's okay. And you can lease it, and those lease payments will be a business deduction as well. So it might not be the right fit for you, but when we come to thinking about taxes and how we can minimize that, we not every those options will be a good fit for our clients. So we talk about the options that are out there, and that's our job, just to say, hey, here's what we think you should be doing based on your industry, et cetera. And it's up to you to is it a right fit, right?
Yeah.
And to take advantage of what is out there. That's our job, is to just let you know what is out there.
So a question I have on it is, like, let's say, so you buy that big truck this year, it's $100K, you get to write $100K right off the top of your income, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you've depreciated the whole vehicle. Now let's pretend we fast forward, 5 years, and then you trade it in to get a new vehicle. Let's say the trade-in value, or you sell it for 50 grand. You got to pay, they're going to recapture.
It's a recap
50, right?
That's right.
Okay. So that's what but what about this? What about, like for me personally, the one that I got last year, if I hang on to it, like, just say forever. And let's say one day, like Chance gets older and I give it to him, or it's still my truck, but now he's driving it.
Yeah.
So I never sell the truck. Then there's no recapture if you never sell it.
If you never sell it. So, once it becomes a non-business asset, you distribute that asset out of the corporation.
Gotcha.
And the rule that you're an S Corp. So on the S Corp, when you distribute that asset, you're distributing at fair market value. So it's deemed as if it was sold.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it's whatever that fair market value. You could say by that point, by the time he's driving, it's worthless, right?
By the time he starts driving,
and those cars depreciate quite a bit. But there's a fair market value to it.
That's a great point. That makes sense.
So I mean, we like our cars. We drive it for quite a while. So, but when it comes to that time, and if you're looking to upgrade, maybe just you get the recapture, you sell it for 50, but you buy another $100,000 vehicle.
Yeah,
you're still netting your $50,000 benefit.
Yeah. Gotcha. That's cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of neat stuff like that, strategy out there that you can deploy. Stuff that we've used over the years, like both personally and also for a lot of our clients. What are some other tactics or ideas?
I love real estate. I mean, for real estate, I mean, and that could apply to anybody. We bought our building for the practice in Winter Park, and because that's our office, we can take some benefits there with depreciation to offset our income from our operating income. And that could apply to, physicians, lawyers out there that are buying or need, bigger space and don't want to buy their own building. There could be some big benefits there from depreciation to offset your ordinary income.
Yeah.
And it's a good investment. It's real estate, right? So you're going to hold on to that asset for quite a while. One, I use it to, instead of, paying a rent amount, just buy your own building. So that's always fun. And we can do a cost seg to kind of, the purchase price, put it to these different buckets so we can accelerate some of that depreciation.
Is that where you say, like you told me once, like you can put some of it towards like the parking lot versus structure?
There's different components, right? A lot of CPAs, you'll see about a building that's, depreciated over 39 years. That's not entirely correct because there's components to it. Like you said, a parking lot, there's landscaping, there's, equipment, lighting, et cetera, fall into different buckets of the component, right? Of the building that you purchase. And leasehold improvements in the parking lot, for example, land improvements, those are eligible for bonus depreciation.
Okay.
So
you just segregate them.
You segregate. We do a cost segregation. That's the cost segregation. We segregate out the costs.
Okay.
To put them into those different buckets.
Nice.
And there's a lot of engineering firms out there that do cost segs. Well, we've done it as a firm perspective, not to give our details out, but we've got that data that we can utilize that towards or for our clients. Instead of spending $10,000, $20,000 on that cost seg, we'll do it for a lot less than that. But
you guys
to the benefit, we have that data to be able to do that for our clients. So there's things we can do there to help our clients out.
Nice, man. That's killer.
Yeah, but no, real estate's always a big one out there. I enjoy working with real estate. So it's a good,
that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, like it's all about what you're able to capture and keep. Like what's the net result of something, like after tax drag, after expenses, that's the bottom line figure. So that's why I think it's so important to have like quality advisors. I mean, like our parents always told us back in the day, surround yourself by good people. And you're a kid growing up, you're like, whatever, dad, but the older I get, I come to understand more and more when you surround yourself by quality people, you have a team of like personal advisors, friends, like inner circle, you are the average of the top 5 people you spend time with. Like your net worth is your network. Your net worth is your network. And it's so true. Like, I mean, I'm telling Chance, my son, about this already. I'm like, you got to watch your friend. He's got, thankfully, like all his buddies are like little Henry down the street and like his boys, Joshua, Daniel, shout out to my dogs. The little guys, they're all little. He's got good friends. But I'm already telling him that, I'm like, you got to make sure you surround yourself with good people. And it's everything. So
and be careful what you hear out there too. I mean, Google's a great tool, but could also be very scary, right? You'll hear something and that's okay. I mean, go out there, just do your research too. But And what we try to tell our clients all the time is ask away. We're not going to charge you for asking a question. If we can answer that question via an email or a phone call, we're not going to charge you for that.
That's good.
We got a lot of attorney friends. We're not attorneys, right? So we're not going to charge you per the minute. But yeah, ask away. And that's on purpose, is so that we can try to help at the front end as opposed to afterwards where it's too late. And it happens, and you see it from time to time too. People take money out of their 401k or whatever, their retirement plans. And we're like, what are you doing? What did you do? Why didn't you consult with us? And next thing you know, they got a big tax hit and they weren't aware of it. But no, ask away. You ask, please.
Is the Roth, the backdoor Roth conversion deal still active this year?
Yeah, and people have taken advantage of that. I mean, you guys have seen it, and if you can't put it anywhere else, that's a great option.
Yeah. So remind us what that is and how it flows.
So the contributions are limited by the IRS, right? Your income, et cetera. So it caps you of what amounts you can put into these different buckets of traditional or IRA accounts. And so what the back door allows you to do is to put into a non-deductible IRA. So you don't get the deduction, and that's great. But at least you can, put into non-deductible IRA and then roll that over into a Roth, right? No tax benefit other than that it's going to grow tax-free in the Roth.
So it's essentially, and we've done this before, but it just to be clear, it's essentially like one extra step. You're still funding the Roth IRA. So like if you make too much income, you can't put money directly into a Roth IRA. Right. So you put it into this non-deductible IRA, and then from there you just roll it over to the Roth IRA, and it's completely kosher. It's all
kosher. Yeah. Because the IRS removed the limitations of how much and whatnot to do that. So yes, and do that. So if you think you can't put money into his account, there's probably a way to the back door.
Yeah, into the Roth IRA.
That's right.
It's huge because a lot of people. I mean, we have a lot of people that ask us like, I can't fund a Roth. I'd love to fund a Roth IRA, but I make too much money.
Yeah, no. I think as far as your client base that we help out, that we see it all the time in there because you're all over it. But yeah, if I see one of your clients, I see what's going on right away. I'm like, this is the back door.
Yeah.
There's always the forms don't really reflect that, so we got to just ask the right questions and make sure that's exactly what's happened. But yeah, it's still available out there, and people should be taking advantage of that.
And the only catch, again, is if that person had some pre-tax IRA dollars, like, so say they already had, 50 grand in a traditional pre-tax IRA, like, off to the side, and then they do this backdoor Roth conversion with like new money. They want to fund the Roth IRA. They would have to convert the 50 grand traditional IRA as well and like pay the taxes on that, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, you could put the money into a non-deductible. Let's say you're just opening it up, open that non-deductible IRA, put the money in there, and then roll that into the Roth.
Oh, they don't have to convert.
You don't have to convert the existing in there. No, because that will trigger some tax.
I thought bank there for you do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and that's what I mean. A lot of times, you got individuals, and I forget. I just had one client specifically that took out, a lot of money, and the banker just said, "Hey, you need to put this into this, et cetera." Yeah. And that's what they did. I won't name the bank that they were using that with, but and I don't know what it is, because that advisor, if I mention their name, you probably know who they are, and it's just maybe to them it wasn't that significant, but for that particular client, that was a lot of money for them. That was a lot of money for them. So again, going back to the, it may not be the right fit for everybody. Maybe they're doing that for their multi-million dollar clients. He just wasn't one of them.
Yeah,
and it was a big hit.
We've gotten a lot of clients from the banks over the years, and like every bank you go to has an advisor tucked away in the corner, and you come in and you make a deposit, and if it's big enough, the teller will say, "Oh, you need to go back there and talk to John." And so then little John comes out and they try to sell you stuff. They try to sell you, an A-share mutual fund, or they try to sell you an annuity, or they try to sell you it's like, John, I'm good, man. Like, and here's the problem with John, because I've got buddies that are in the bank channels, and this is what the advisors in the banking channels do. They'll be at a bank for a couple years. They build up their book of business, and it's all based on their commissions and stuff they sell. So they'll sell a bunch of big like commission product, like annuities. They sell, and then once they get their numbers up to where they need it, they flip and they go to another bank. And then when they go to the other bank, they'll go from like Truist to Bank of America. And then when they flip to the other bank, they get a signing bonus based on the numbers that they did over the prior 12 months. So then they get and it's a multiple. It'd be like 1x or 2x of their commission over the prior year. So they flip and then they do it again. They build up the numbers, build up. And then after a couple of years, boom, then they flip and go to Chase. And it's this cycle. So at the end of the day, it's really the customers, like the clients, that are getting screwed. Because like, let's say they do open a Roth IRA with John. And then they kind of like, all right, we got this thing going. And then, they come back in 6 months and Johnny's gone. Like Johnny bounced and went to Truist, or wherever. Yeah. So it's like a revolving door there.
Yeah, no. And again, that not every, it's not going to be specific for a client. So you got to look at it like it may make sense to take that money out of a 401k, right? Because you had these huge losses. So this is the time to do it, to get it out of there and put it into a Roth. So it may make sense, but it depends. It really depends. And people ask me that, they'll send me an email and they'll ask me a question. They're like, "Hey, real quick question." And I go, "Well, it depends. It always depends." And they don't like hearing that, but it really depends. And that's why I say, let's have a one-to-one actual meeting to discuss it, because it really does depend.
It's the older situation. Yeah. It depends. But it's so true, because like everybody's different. Every client is different.
You got to look at the whole thing.
You have to.
I mean, our firm, what we do is mostly, corporate clients, and obviously the individuals come along that, because for the most part, they're flow through into these S corps, partnerships. And so you got to look at the whole picture, right? If you're looking at the corporation, you got to look at the personal. If you're doing the personal, you got to be looking at the corporate stuff. And like I said, there's CPAs in every corner. So this CPA can be doing all the work there, but I try to convince them, let's try to, bring it all into the firm, not for me purposes, but for you, so I can look at the whole thing. Because maybe it makes sense, but we got to look at the whole thing. It depends on the situation.
Yeah. Do you have any people that ask you about life insurance?
Yeah, they do. They do ask, and they ask us everything. I had today that hey, just because I know you, who do you recommend for this, that, and this? And then I can trust you. So we get them all. We get all the questions, and it's our job to try to know as little as possible for a lot of different things.
Smart.
But again, surround ourselves with the people that do know the answers to those questions. And so I sent you a referral that this, I mean, I don't know how that's going to pan out for you, but it's a referral. I'm like, hey, you got to, it looks like you want to switch out. So here's a contact. So you surround yourself with that network, like you said. But yeah, we get all the questions, all of them. So yes, to answer your question.
I've found lately, like I'm getting more questions on life insurance, and I feel like there's been this big push from social media, from a marketing standpoint. And there's now a lot of, entrepreneurship is very like a sexy word that's been popular the past like 10 or 20 years. Nobody really talked about this when we were coming up. But now it's like between the Gary V's and like all the rah-rah people, like everybody wants to be an entrepreneur or a freaking coach, or they want to have their own business. And it's like they glamorize it. They do. So here's the thing. I've gotten so many questions about life insurance, specifically cash value life insurance, where somebody watched a video or they got pitched this idea. It was like, oh, tax-free income. Like that's how it's pitched. Like, this is what the wealthy do. You can put your money into these things, take out all your cash from IRAs, 401ks, you put it over here in these policies, and it's guaranteed. They use buzzwords: guaranteed, tax-free, things like this. And yes, some of it is true if structured properly, but what's really malpractice is if you give blanket advice to people and say, everybody needs to do this thing. It could be anything. It could be a Roth IRA. It could be, Section 179, it could be cash value life insurance. Everybody's different. So, people will hear something and they say, oh, should I do that? Probably not. I mean, here's my interpretation or my understanding of where life insurance fits into an overall portfolio. And I've got an insurance background. And as a CLU, I've got a pretty good understanding of it. I don't sell insurance anymore. We've got guys like Gary, that I outsource to, like one of our partners. But here's my understanding. If you've done everything right, meaning you're maxing out a 401k, ideally you're using Roth in the 401k too, but let's say you're maxing out 401k, you're maxing out a Roth IRA through either backdoor or directly. You have tons of liquidity, so you're also putting savings away in brokerage or just money market or saving. You're accelerating your mortgage. You're responsible with your cash flow and your debt. Like you're doing it, you're maxing out all of your available, buckets. If you still have money left over and you want to invest it, then you can consider cash value life insurance or real estate or alternatives or oil and gas. But life insurance is like one of those, like, to me, like, after you've done all the other stuff, like you've built the foundation, now you've got like the third floor. That's where insurance fit. And I own insurance. I own a whole life. I own VUL. I have tons of policies, but I'm doing all the foundation stuff first.
You've already done that first.
Yeah.
No, I agree 100%. And then going back, is it the right fit for that specific individual? And to me, the word that I always go to is, can you afford to do it? Right. If you can afford to do it, then it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. Because you got to, like you said, build that foundation first, and then here's some additional options. You've already done all these. Here's some more. Like when it comes for us from tax planning and projections and strategies, that's the same thing we do. Is like, hey, here's some strategies that, have worked. It may not be for you, but here's some things you need to consider, but definitely do these. And then it's up to you to do it or not. But yeah, no, I get that question quite often, actually.
It's all about marketing, it's all about information. And now the way that it flows, I mean, it's never been faster. It's only getting faster. Moore's Law states every 18 months, the microchip doubles in speed, which is completely bonkers to me because like it's happened. We're seeing it play out in real time. And now you have these technologies, mega disruption, AI, I mean, AI has been around for a long time. In 1998, IBM produced a machine called Deep Blue. And Deep Blue was a bot that beat at the world's time the world grand chess player. And they went toe to toe, and the IBM machine beat it. That was in 98, the year I graduated high school. That was AI. So like, it's not new. It's just getting faster and better. And the current ChatGPT that we all know, that's the third version. It was the first one released to the public, but it's called ChatGPT 3.0. And 4.0 is coming out soon. It's supposed to come out by the end of the year. And 4.0 is supposed to be 100 times smarter than the current one.
Is that the one from the Mission Impossible movie?
Maybe. Either that was pretty cool.
Well, we're talking about the Mission Impossible movie. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's crazy. The technology is just so fast, and you try to catch up to it from all aspects, from politics, etc. It's moving so fast, and it's right at everyone's fingertips. Yeah. Going back to what I said earlier is just ask. Like tax, like that's all I do. I don't know what I would do if I didn't, I love what I do.
Be a race car.
Yeah, I wish. Right. So yeah, what would you do? But this is what I do all day long. That's what I see. And every single, we have 7,000 clients, so I can see, different things happening, from all aspects. So that's what I do. Right. And that's what the firm does. And you're a financial advisor, you see it every day more than the layman person. So they should reach out to the experts. Right. When you go to a doctor, right? Mm-hmm. You don't know it. Ideally, yeah. Yeah.
Well, we talked about a lot today, Rick. It was so cool to have you to kind of share this first, this kickoff with me, to kind of like chop it up here in the studio.
I appreciate it, man.
We got Rick in the building.
I appreciate it.
I always wanted to say that.
I can't believe it went by that fast.
I know. I think, we've been rapping for like almost 45 minutes.
45 minutes. Goes by fast.
Yeah, man. So until next time, as long as the AI and the bots don't take over, and we don't have Mission Impossible, 9.0 or whatever's next, I think we can do the next one on that. Rick, I appreciate you, brother.
You got it, man.
Love you, man.
Yep.